Hi, this is Matthew Cratter from Trader University. And today I want to talk about 3 ways to find good stocks to swing trade. If you're interested in swing trading, momentum stocks, rocket stocks, trading with options, anything like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see what I'm trading and learn more about my strategies. So the first way I like to find stocks to trade, especially to swing trade, is I like to look at the all-time new high list as well as the 52-week high list. I'm going to stick all these links that I talk about. You're going to find them in the description notes below. But one of the things I like about stocks that are hitting all-time new highs is that everyone who's holding the stock is a winner. There's no overhang of sellers who are waiting to get out at break even. And so if you just click on this bar chart link below, it'll take you to this page. Right here, you can toggle between 52-week high and all-time high and take a look at both of them. Right now, we're having quite a bit of a market pullback, so there are not that many names at the all-time high list. But once I find a name, so for example, Nike is right here, NKE, and I like to then check out the chart. I want to look for good reactions to earnings, as we had a couple days ago. We had a nice gap up on. So we had a nice daily gap here on higher than expected volume. And I like to see the stock trading above the blue line here, which is the 50-day moving average, and then the 50-day moving average above this red line, which is the 200-day moving average. And in general, for uptrending stocks, good stocks you want to swing trade, you want to see the chart starting in the lower left side of the chart and then finishing at the upper right side. This is the definition of an uptrend. So this is a great place to look, either all-time new highs, 52-week highs. The next place I like to look is what is called a heat map, and FinViz has a very nice one. I have no affiliation with them. I'll just stick a link in the notes below if you want to check out this link. And what this basically shows you is which stocks have been outperforming over a certain time period. So I usually like to look at a 1-month period to get an idea of what's been working over the last month. And so you can see, for example, over the last month, Amazon is down 2.83%. The size of these boxes is determined by the market cap. So the bigger companies are going to have larger boxes. You can see here Apple is up 7% in the last month. It's a much bigger box because it's a very large company. And then you can see smaller companies. Here's Netflix, which has a much smaller market cap. It's down almost 10% over the last month. So if you look at sectors, and so these are sort of arranged by sectors as well. So we have technology here, services, basic materials, consumer goods, financials, etc. So just glancing at this, I can see that large cap FANG stocks, especially Apple right here, and Google have been doing well. The financials have been doing well. And then, for example, healthcare, the health insurance companies like Anthem and United Healthcare have been doing poorly. So this gives me a good idea of what sectors to look for, and also which stocks are performing well and will probably continue to have momentum. Definitely, if you can find a strong sector. So, for example, if we look at financials, JP Morgan is really the strongest. You can see Wells Fargo, JP Morgan up 9% and almost 8%. So then we go look at that same chart and see what that looked like, whether they've been having a turnaround. So you can see here these are sort of in recovery mode, and we're looking to get a crossover here where the 50-day moving average crosses above the 200-day moving average. And so what you want to do is find a very strong sector or industry, and then look for the strongest stocks within that sector. It looks like JP Morgan has a much better chart here, trading above the 50-day moving average, 50-day moving average above the 200-day moving average. And so if I were to bet on a financial stock, this is where I would go. Now, finally, the third way is to also look at individual sectors and then drill down. And so we have the heat map. This is a good way of doing it. And again, you can toggle between 1-month performance, 1-week performance. And then I forgot to mention at the bottom here, it gives you sort of a color code. So the really dark red stocks were down 10%. The really green, light green stocks were up 10%. So finally, another way to sort of get an idea of what's working in the market and what's not is to look at the S&P 500 sector ETFs. Now, each of these begins with the letter X. So for example, energy is XLE, financials XLF, technology XLK. I guess all of them actually begin with XL. I'll stick a link in the notes below for this. And so I like drilling down, and this gives me an idea of really what's working in the market as a whole. So then I'll go in and look at some individual, I think there are 12 of them, 11 or 12 of them. I'll type each of these into the chart, each of these ETFs, and that gives me an idea of what the strongest part of the S&P 500 is. And so if the overall S&P 500 looks like this, SPY, fairly bullish chart, been sort of going sideways since March, but still trading above the 50-day moving average, 50-day moving average above the 200-day moving average. So then once I see the overall look of the S&P 500, then I can drill down using these individual sector ETFs. So let's look at the utilities, which is XLU. It's very easy to remember. Utilities, interest rate sensitive, as interest rates have come down and the yield on the 10-year note has come down, these have been doing really well. And so when you see a chart like this, then maybe you want to drill down, look at some individual utility names. We've talked about Duke. Duke has been really an outperformer. And you can go in, you can basically, if you click on this link here, XLU would be utilities, it will tell you the largest holdings in there. So that's another way to find some good stocks that are trending. So XLU, we said, has been performing really well. Energy would be an example of an S&P 500 sector industry that's not performing, that's been quite bearish. So you can see here, the chart begins in the upper left-hand side of the page and finishes in the lower right-hand side. We had a failure at the 200-day moving average, a quick rebuff. We're now down below the 50-day moving average. I guess this was when we had a brief spike, the attacks on the Saudi oil fields, and then the selling pressures come back in. So I would not want to, maybe I'd look for short candidates to swing trade on the short side when I find a weak ETF like this. So again, you could go back here, you could click right in on XLE, and if we click on there, it'll take us inside and show us the weightings and the largest holdings. Let's see, so we can look at holdings right here, and it's probably going to be, as we'd guess, ExxonMobil and Chevron, etc., ConocoPhillips. So then we could drill down and look at these individual names. If we wanted to go short, try to find which are the weakest names. So maybe ConocoPhillips. They all look about the same, but you can look and find the weakest one. Now, if you've listened this far, you might be interested in my courses, where I cover a lot of this material in more depth. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in momentum stocks, there'd be 2 courses you want to take a look at. Learn to trade stocks like a pro, and then learn to trade options like a pro, and then swing trading with options is really a way of leveraging and getting much larger returns from momentum stocks and from swing trading and from trend following. Now, all of these courses are included in a monthly membership. So you can also have a course on bear market strategies, crypto, price action trading, trading futures, financial statement analysis, etc. And so there's no long-term contracts. You can sign up just for a month, watch all the courses, and then cancel. Now, normally the tuition for this would be $125 for 30 days access. But for my YouTube audience, I want to give you a coupon code. So if you just go to the link in the notes below, click the link to Trader University, and come down here to where it says coupon code. And if you just type in YouTube 2019, click update, you'll see the price here goes from $125 a month to just $99 a month. Again, that gives you 30 days access. You can watch all the courses, cancel at the end of the month, and you won't be charged again. No long-term contracts. And if there's something missing from it, if there's a course you'd like to see or lecture you'd like to see, you can just contact me as a subscriber, and I'll record whatever you're interested in. I'm constantly adding new courses and new lectures. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're interested in learning more about trading stocks, options, futures, and crypto, especially momentum stocks. And if you have any questions about this, drop them in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.